When I was going into Psychokinesis and I read the summary of the film, I immediately thought that this is kind of interesting because of the fact that the central character is a dad. Now, when we get superpowered films and series, the central character would always be like a teen, a young guy who is trying to make a mark in the world or trying to get noticed. You know, someone who is an underdog and is trying to break away, or something fantastic happens and the whole plot goes around and revolves around the actual central character evolving to someone great with powers because of the fact that before he was nothing and now he is something. And I like that. In Psychokinesis, all those themes are still present in the movie. In it, they just changed a few stuff to fit a very much family-oriented movie. I like the fact that instead of being an underdog who is trying to make a mark in the world or try to break into a career or try to be a different person all throughout, Psychokinesis focuses on the family relationship of the daughter and the father trying to make amends from a damaged past. And I really like that central theme. Coming into the first scenes, it was kind of confusing because there was like a restaurant, there was orders, and all of these things like a commercial. And it felt a little bit like too much on the first scene. Like I don't understand it and I still don't get it. But on the scenes after, I finally get where it's going. Then the demolishing happened at night and it was getting exciting. At that point, I was like, okay, what's gonna happen? But then the mother dies. Now, this isn't a spoiler or anything because the mother dying is actually the key, the start of, or the ignition, the trigger of everything that the plot will go through. Because of the mother dying, the riot, the demolishing, the actual people, it's just crazy when the mother dies and things are really heating up. And I like that sort of pain the daughter goes through. And I don't know, it makes me think that this actually happens in real life. The fact that it's very supernatural driven, superpower driven film, and then they bring it back to a very heartfelt and very realistic drama. And I like that the propeller of everything that made the movie happen. As far as father, middle-aged guys, and underdogs go, I like Seung-ryong. Because of the fact that when we get a guy like this who is estranged with his daughter, it's always about him being like an alcoholic, a gambling addict, or some sort of affair with another woman. That's why he left. I like that it's none of those facts, and simply because he is not prepared. He is emotionally unprepared for being a father. He is financially unprepared for being a father. That's why he left. He was overwhelmed with the responsibilities of being a dad and being a husband at the same time, and he just left his family. I like that the fact that the weakness of the father is emotional, it's consequential, and it's not just because of addicts or addiction or any kind of sort of external factors that affected the person. And that's great. I also like the fact that when we see Seung-ryong through the actual movie, that he's always trying. Like, he's trying to find a good job, a better job with his magic, with his superpowers. And I like that the fact he's always going to the riots, helping his daughter. It's nice that he tries, even though he fails. I always like that he tries. If you've seen some of my reviews that I did before, I always gravitate to characters that actually try, even though they fail a lot, so many times, or even if they don't, the perseverance, the actual trying part, which I feel like is very, very necessary for a character to grow and evolve. And I really like that part. Now for the character Rumi. Before we get to the character, I'd like to talk about the actress. Now, the actress herself was really great in portraying the character because she was intense, she was direct, she was straightforward, and she was really raging and angry and sad almost all of the time in the movie. And I like that, how she portrayed that. She's very expressive and she's great at that. Now, towards the character herself, Rumi, I didn't really like her that much because of the fact that she is antagonistic to the main character. Now, when I was watching the first scenes of the movie, I developed this bias towards the main character. I wish the main character would succeed, he would get along with his daughter, and he'd have really great superpowers that he can control, all of those good stuff. And because I was having a bias towards the main character, I kind of hated Rumi because she is antagonistic towards the main character. She was always berating him, telling him off, and all of these things, and I felt bad for the main character. And so that feeling that she feels like antagonistic, kind of villainous, so yeah, I think the movie did its job too well, I guess, in that sort of regard, that the character Rumi is kind of dislikable, if that's a word. I kind of hated her because of what she did to the main character, but because she is also a main character, so I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. It's just better watch the movie, see how you feel about it, but their acting are really, really great. Now let's talk about the villains. I like the villains of the story because they're detestable and I really hate them, especially CEO Min. Now, as the bully of the story, CEO Min just bullies everyone. His employees, the people, and he actually caused an incident. He's the reason why the mother died, and he just is very thick-skinned about it. He doesn't really care. He acts like he's all tough, and that's really great for him. And I really end up hating him because he's such an asshole. And I guess I like it. I was entertained. Now moving on to the other villain of the story, Director Hong. Now, she is also one of those people who represent a tiny percentage in the population of the world that is very, very irritating. She acts like she is the boss. She steps on people's heads all the time. She just she has no regard. She has complete no regard of people and treats them like slaves. That's who she is. And I love her for it, and I like the character for it, and I like the fact that she is a woman. Now, she is a woman who would do anything in her power, including pretending to be weak just to get what she wants, and I like that about her. In the movie, what I felt like was really unfair was the fact that CEO Min gets to be beaten up to a bloody pulp, and the director Hong isn't. It's just really unfair. Both of them caused so much damage to the main character and the people, and director Hong is even worse in her personality and what she wants. And what she did, she was the main cause of the demolition. It was her order. And yet we saw only CEO Min get beaten up to a bloody pulp. Director Hong got her car crushed. That's it. I mean, with all her money, she could probably buy a new car. It's just unfair for that because both of them are really bad people, and I wish I got that satisfaction that she was beating up as well. It was just really not fair. I give this a rating of 4 out of 5. I like the fact that the ending itself is very different from what I expected it to be. Mostly on superpowered films and series, we get a really sad ending, a weird ending, or a ending where the main character flies away or be somewhere else, or something really different. But when I got to the ending of Psychokinesis, it was fluffy, it was fun, it was okay. You know, and I like the fact that everything is okay. Also, another thing that I was pleasantly surprised about was because it is a superpowered film. I like that the government didn't intervene with his superpowers, like made an experiment out of him, put him in a lab, or try to chase him down for his different capabilities. I like the fact that it never happened in the story, and it was only centered around him being in jail, people accepting the fact that he has superpowers, and then moving on. I like it. I like the fact that the cast didn't emphasize on being pretty or looking a certain kind of look. The way the characters are, they are supposed to be average people with average lives and average needs. You know, people who aren't really hung up about how they look because there are other important things in their life which they have to prioritize. And I like the fact that they moved the characters. They didn't pick out characters or actors that have too much makeup or dresses really big or nice. And the fact that they really centered on a character or an actor that looks average and needs to be average. It's a welcome feel. It's different from all the Korean drama and Korean films that I've watched before. And now for things that I didn't really like about the movie, there aren't that much. There are some scenes that were boring, but not really that significant for me to mention in this video. But one thing that I didn't really like is Jung-hyun. The character himself felt a little too forced. We could have done without the character, the love interest for Rumi, and I think there is still gonna be a flow in the story. It's still gonna work. We could have tightened up the scenes or added more conflict between the two main characters, and it would flow well, and I think I would like it. We could have done really well without the love interest, really. My recommendation is definitely watch it. It's less than 2 hours and it's really fun to watch. There's a lot of comedy, a lot of action, a lot of superpower stuff. It makes you just want to like tune in and just be glued into it. Especially if you're having like a day like you're really stressed out and tired and you just want to see a lot of action films that kind of wake you up. This is one of those movies that you should watch. If you like this movie and like other superpowered films, I did a review on another Korean drama series where superpowers are also the theme. It's called He is Psychometric. I'll put the review link somewhere over here. If you found this video helpful and enjoyable, do give me a like. If you want to see more reviews on Asian drama TV series and films in the future, click on that subscribe button and the bell button for notifications. My favorite scene in the story is the one where he learns how to fly. I like that he didn't really get the flight ability and just know it. You know, there was a process, a learning process for him to get off the ground, and he was stumbling around on the cars, on the buildings, and I like that. And I like that learning process for him to really get control over flight. That's it.